North Sentinel Island, the Forbidden Isle. We begin with North Sentinel Island, a small, densely forested landmass. At first glance on Google Earth, it looks like any other tropical paradise. Lush greenery, surrounded by crystal clear waters. But in reality, it's one of the most off-limit places on the planet. Why? Because no outsider is welcome. North Sentinel Island is home to the Sentinelese, an indigenous tribe that has lived in complete isolation for over 60,000 years. And they have violently resisted any attempts at contact, defending their land with bows and even arrows. The Indian government has declared the island a strict no-go zone, both to protect the Sentinelese from outside diseases and to prevent outsiders from meeting a deadly fate. But of course, in 2018, there was an American missionary named John Allen who tried to make contact. He was killed by the tribe and his body was never recovered. Beyond the tribe's hostility, the island itself is naturally protected. Treacherous coral reefs make it nearly impossible to approach by boat, and you definitely can't even swim there. And helicopters risk being shot if they get too close. It remains a place frozen in time, untouched by the modern world, and a place that we're definitely not able to get to. Tsingy de Bemaraha. It's Madagascar's razor-shaped maze. Deep in Madagascar lies one of the most surreal and impassable landscapes on Earth. This UNESCO World Heritage Site resembles a jagged, ancient-like forest. Some say alien-like forest. The name literally translates to where one cannot walk barefoot, and once you see it, you'll understand why. The entire region is made up of towering limestone pinnacles, some reaching over 200 feet high, and these razor-sharp formations were sculpted over millions of years by erosion, creating a treacherous labyrinth that even skilled climbers struggle to navigate. If the landscape itself isn't intimidating enough, the Tsingy is also home to venomous snakes, scorpions, and other deadly wildlife. So if you got a fear of snakes, you're definitely not going over there. Adding to its inaccessibility, it's located in the remote part of Madagascar, with barely passable roads, miles and miles of uncharted terrain, and local legends whisper of hidden caves and ancient secrets buried within the limestone. A lot of mysterious things around this thing, but I'm not getting there, neither are you. The Darien Gap, a jungle where civilization ends. This is on the Panama and Colombia border, because nature isn't the only threat there. Darien Gap is a notorious route for drug traffickers, guerrilla groups, and not those type of guerrillas, and of course, human smugglers. Smuggling a lot of smugs, making it one of the most perilous places to cross. Despite its reputation, some desperate migrants actually have attempted to go through this journey and go through the jungle. However, unfortunately, there are no roads, no infrastructure, and no guaranteed way through. It's a place where civilization disappears, and only the strongest can survive. Mount Weather, the U.S. government's secret bunker. This is in Virginia, the United States. Not all inaccessible places are hidden in remote wilderness. Some are just right in front of your eyes. Just open your eyes a little bit. At first glance, it appears to be an unremarkable government facility, but beneath the surface lies one of America's classified secrets, the Mount Weather Emergency Operations Center. This massive underground bunker was designed as a secure shelter for top government officials in the event of a national catastrophe, alien attacks, government takedown, or some weird 60 seconds gameplay type of thing. Now we can actually see this on Google Earth, but its security is impenetrable. You can't get into this thing. It's surrounded by armed guards, high fences, motion sensors, and restricted airspace. And even getting too close is going to cause a military response. Rumors about what's inside, well, some say that it's a backup U.S. government headquarters. Others believe it houses classified technology and secrets hidden from the public. Mount Weather appears and remains a modern fortress. The Vale of Javari, the last uncontacted tribes. Deep in the Amazon rainforest along the borders, Brazil, Peru, lies the Vale of Javari. One of the most isolated places on Earth, though it appears as an unbroken expanse of jungle, this region is home to one of the most highest concentrations of uncontacted tribes in the world. The Brazilian government has declared the valley a protected reserve, strictly banning outsiders from entering. For these tribes, isolation isn't just a way of life, it's survival. Contact with the modern world could expose them to diseases for which they have no immunity. It would actually wipe out the entire community, in fact. If even beyond its human barriers, it's nearly impossible to navigate. The terrain is an impenetrable maze of swamps, dense jungle, and winding rivers. Deadly wildlife is there, and of course, if you run into a human, it's probably not one of us. It's probably going to be someone from a tribe. And you know what happens when you run into a tribe member? You're going down. Mount Kailash, the forbidden peak of the goods, deep in the remote regions of Tibet, rising to an almost supernatural height of 22,000 feet, stands Mount Kailash. Unlike Everest, which has been conquered by thousands of humans, actually no human has ever stood foot on the summit of Kailash. And it's not because of technical difficulties, because the mountain is forbidden to climb. It's considered sacred in Hinduism, Buddhism, and Jainism and Bon. a couple, religions that many people follow, I guess. The peak is said to be the spiritual center of the universe, home to the gods and ascended beings. Legends around this area whisper that those who attempt to scale it either never return, mysteriously turn back, or experience accelerated aging, as if climbing bends time itself. Some satellite images show unusual spiral formations on its slope, adding to theories that the mountain is not natural but an ancient man-made pyramid, possibly hiding lost knowledge beneath its slopes. Chinese authorities have even imposed strict restrictions on climbing, ensuring that the peak remains untouched, possibly out of respect or fear of disturbing whatever lies at its summit. The Meshkoyer Bunker Complex. It's in Russia. It's a Russian secret mountain. A site hidden from satellites and erased from most maps, holds some of the world's most closely guarded secrets. Officials from this area actually classified by the Russian government. Its town is rumored to be connected to the Yamantau Mountain Bunker Complex, an enormous underground facility said to be large enough to house tens of thousands of people in the event of a global catastrophe. Theories range from it being a nuclear command center to a vast subterranean city capable of sustaining Russia's elite during a doomsday event. Everybody's got their secret bunkers, am I right? Attempts to approach the region are met with military roadblocks, ensuring that no outsider ever sees what lies beneath. Satellite images reveal only military structures, hidden roads, and ominous tunnel entrances disappearing to the mountainside. If any location embodies the secrecy, paranoia of conspiracies, it's the city of Medjugorje. I don't know how to say it because I'm not Russian, but it's impossible to go there unless you want to run into some guys like Vladimir Putin or maybe Khabib. Poveglia Island, the Forbidden Isle of the Dead. In the Venetian lagoon between Venice and Lido lies Poveglia Island, a place so drenched in death that it is considered one of the most haunted locations on Earth. Now, you can actually probably visit this area if you do it properly and in secrecy, but you won't come back alive, you'll probably come back possessed, so I say take a pass on this one. Once used as a plague quarantine zone during the Black Death, the island became a dumping ground for diseased and dying. In the 20th century, it was turned to a mental asylum, where horrific experiments were rumored to have been conducted on the patients. And today, the island is entirely off limits, abandoned to decay. The Italiano government has forbidden visitors from ever setting foot on its shores, and fishermen refuse to go near it, claiming that the waters surrounding it are filled with human bones. And I don't think they're lying. Mamma mia, they're not lying. Looking at Poveglia from Google Earth, you will see nothing but crumbling ruins, overgrown vegetation, and an eerie silence guarding history so dark. A lot of history down here, but I don't think I want to be part of that type of history. The La Chaux Caves, the sealed portal to prehistoric mines. Surprisingly, this is in France. It's in the quiet countryside of Dordogne. Hidden with rolling hills lies one of the most significant prehistoric sites ever discovered. These caves hold some of the most detailed and vibrant examples of early human art going back 17,000 years ago. The paintings depict majestic animals, deer, horses, and bisons, and even these animals in motion, showcasing an incredible understanding of anatomy and perspective for such an ancient civilization. Didn't know the French had ancient civilizations, but whatever. Oui, bonjour. You want to go back to prehistoric times? Well, experts speculate that these might have been part of shamanistic rituals and magicians and magic and all the storytelling type of things. But after being exposed to human presence, the cave paintings began to rapidly deteriorate, just like everything that humans touch. No scientist, tourist, or anybody is allowed to enter. Vatican Archives, located in the Vatican City. Deep within the Vatican City, behind centuries-old stone walls and under the watchful eyes of Swiss guards. It's one of the most restricted places on the planet. You can actually walk around the Vatican City, but getting to the Vatican Archive, you're going to have to go through a lot of security. Like, you have to go through basically your entire school bully list, because that thing is going to be tough to get. Now, many believe that these archives hold hidden knowledge, forbidden texts, lost gospels, and even records of supernatural events that the church has concealed for centuries. But just what are inside these archives? Where does the Vatican's secrets hide? What kind of secret are we talking about here? Now remember, these are not just religious texts. They include personal letters from popes dating back 1,000 years, witch trial notes, documents that could actually write entire parts of world history, and the oldest record inside the archives, a letter from 809 AD. Now, no one in the church, no one even inside the church, is allowed to see anything from the past 120 years. But how restricted are the Vatican archives? Most restricted places on Earth are guarded by fences, walls, and armed forces. The Vatican's secret archives are guarded by something even stronger. Centuries of silence. A bunch of dead folks. That's what I'm talking about. There's a chance, a small, probably 0.001% chance that you can actually enter the Vatican archive. Top scholars can't even just request access either. You have to be a highly qualified researcher, get direct approval from the Vatican, request specific documents by name, and you can't even know what's inside the documents. So, what does the Vatican know? What is the Pope hiding? What is the Catholic Church hiding from us? That's for another video. We'll find out later.